What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate your design agency using Make.com. Let's get started. On Whimsical, I've outlined all the processes in a design agency that we are going to automate using Make.com. So the first process is capturing leads using Typeform and adding the leads to a project management tool, which in this case, we're going to be using Monday.com. So the leads could be coming from a lead magnet, from ads, from referrals, or affiliates. And then we are capturing these leads via a Typeform on our website or on our ads. And then we're going to set up an automation that is going to add these leads to Monday.com. After adding the leads to Monday.com, we are also going to send a confirmation email to the specific lead. The second process that we're going to automate for design agency is the client onboarding process. Now, I've split the client onboarding process into three, where the first part, we are going to create an automation that automatically sends an onboarding questionnaire that has been created on Typeform to the clients to collect information about their needs, preferences, and project details, and add their responses to Monday.com. Now, the second part we're going to automate on the client onboarding process is the billing and invoicing process. Here, we're going to set up an automation that automatically generates invoices using Stripe and sends the clients payment reminders if the due date has already passed. Now, the third process that we're going to automate as we onboard our client is the proposal and contract generation. Here, we're going to generate custom proposals and contracts on PandaDoc and send the proposal and contracts to our client for review and signing. The third process that we're going to automate for a design agency is the deadline reminders to our team. We're going to create an automation that automatically notifies our team for project deadlines, ensuring that the team members stay informed and accountable. And the fourth process that we're going to automate for a design agency is a project tracking, where we're going to create an automation that automatically sends updates and reports to our clients to keep them informed about the project status. The other process that we're going to automate for a design agency is the content scheduling process, where here we are going to create an automation that automatically schedules design posts on social media to ensure consistent online presence for your agency. The other process that we're going to automate is the client approval process, where we're going to create an automation that automatically notifies and alerts our client when the designs are ready for review and approval. The other process that we're going to automate for a design agency is the file delivery and client handoffs process, where here we're going to create an automation that automatically delivers the final design files to our clients. The last process that we're going to automate for a design agency is the client feedback and review process, where we're going to send an email to our client after the project has been completed to check in with the clients and request testimonials or referrals. So these are all the processes that we're going to automate for a design agency in our video. Let's begin by automating the first process, which is capturing the leads via Typeform and adding the leads to Monday.com. On Typeform, I've created a form and renamed it to Design Agency Lead Capture Form. After the prospect clicks on the link from our ads or from our website, they will be taken right here, where we are welcoming them and telling them, over the next 1 minute, we'll help you fill in your form. On this form, we are collecting their personal information. So we are collecting their first name, last name, phone number, email, and their company name. They'll fill in their details on this form. On Monday, I've created a board and renamed it to Design Agency Board. So here, we will add all our design clients that we are collecting from this form right here. On Monday, we are collecting their full name. We are assigning them to a member of our team. We also adding the date they were created, the last updated, their status. And on status, we have intake, onboard, team reminders, in progress, finalizing, completed, cancelled, approval, file delivery, and client feedback for each of our clients. We're also collecting the first name, last name, company name, email, and phone number right here. Let us create the automation that will automatically get the clients from Typeform and automatically add them to Monday.com. So on Make, I've created a folder and renamed it to Design Agency System. Here, I'll click on Create a New Scenario. I've renamed our scenario to Add Client Info to Monday.com via Typeform. And now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to capture the responses of our clients from Typeform. So here, I'll search for Typeform, and then we're going to watch responses. Now here, we have two watch response triggers. The first one has acid and the other one has instant. So the one with acid, you will have to choose when you like to trigger our automation. But the one with instant, it automatically triggers instantly after the form has been submitted by any of our clients. I'm going to choose a watch response acid since I would like to choose when to start to trigger our automation. You'll need to create a connection between Typeform and Make.com. To create a connection between Typeform and Make.com, all you have to do is just click on Add and then rename your connection right here. Then click on Save. A new window will pop up. You will confirm the account that you like to link to Make.com. And then after clicking on OK, your connection will have been created. Now, since I already created a connection, I'm going to close this window and choose my connection. After choosing my connection, I'm going to choose the limit as 1. And then here, I'm going to find our form. Our form is called Design Agency Lead Capture Form. Here, I'm going to search for our form and then click on OK. And then you can see right here, we need to choose where we'd like to start. You can either choose from now, since a specific date, all, or choose manually. I like to start from now, and then here I'll click on OK. Now we can list our responses that we are getting from Typeform. But first here, we'll need to delay for at least 3 seconds to give it time so we can list the responses that we are getting from Typeform. So on tools, I'm going to search for sleep, and then here we can delay for, let's say, 3 seconds, and then click on OK. And then here on Typeform, I'm going to list our responses. And then for the form ID, I'm still going to choose our form right here. Then here, I'll limit it to 1, and then click on OK. Now on our form, I'll click on Share. And here, I'll copy the link of this form and paste it on a new tab. On a new tab, I'll click on Start and fill in our form as a client. Now, here, we can add the first name of our client. We can add the first name as Justin, last name as Warren. And here we can add the phone number. You can add the email. The email is justinwarren@annex.com. For the company name, we can say they work at Annex. And here, I'll click on Submit. Now, when we go back to automation right here and run it, you can see that we are getting Justin's information right here. So we're getting his first name, last name, the phone number, email, and company they work in. And then we are delaying for 3 seconds so we can list the responses on right here. Now, with Justin's information, we can proceed to add Justin to Monday.com. So here, I'll search for Monday. And on Monday, I'm going to search for create an item module. Like we did previously with Typeform, you'll need to create a connection between Monday.com and Make.com. And to do that, all you have to do is click on Add, and then here you'll rename your connection and then add your API key right here. To get your API key, on Monday, click on your profile, and then on profile, click on Administration, and click on Connection, and then API, and you'll find your API token right here. All you have to do now is copy it and come and paste it right here. But since I had already created a connection earlier, I'm going to close and use my connection right here. For the item name, I'm going to use the first name and last name of our client. So here I'm going to add the first name, then space, add the second name. Then for our board ID, I'm going to choose Design Agency as our board ID. For our group ID, it's going to be Design Clients. And then here we can add the columns with their values that we like to add on Monday. So here, I'll click on Add an Item. And the first column that we're going to add is the assignee. The assignee, I'm going to add an item, and I'm going to assign Joe as the assignee for this client. And then you can add another item. Then here, choose a company name as a column. And then the value for the company name, I'm going to choose company that Justin works in. And then we can add a new item and then choose a new column ID. This time I'm going to choose date created. And then the value for the date created, I'm going to choose the submitted as. And then add a new item and then choose a new column. I'm going to choose email as a new column. And then here, I'm going to add the value for the email, which is this one right here. Then add the text right here. And then for the text, you can add the email text from the email value right here. Add a new item and choose first name as our column. And then add the value for the first name, which is this one right here. Then add a new item, then add a new column. This time around, we're going to choose last name. Then add the value for the last name, which is Warren. A new item, and choose a new column. This time we're going to choose phone as our column. And here we can add the phone value, which is the phone number of Justin right here. The country code, we can add US as a country code, and then add a new item. And this time around, we can add status as a column. Here we can choose to label it, and we can label it as intake, and then click on OK. After adding Justin to Monday.com, I'll send them a confirmation email. I'll search for emails and then click on send an email. For the email address, we're going to add the email address that is submitted on our form, which is this one right here. And then the subject line of our email that we are sending them could be on the lines of, thank you for your submission. Our team will be in touch soon. And then the content of the email, we can say, hi, first name, and add the first name that is submitted on Typeform. And the rest of the email could be on the lines of, thank you for submitting your information through our form. We've received your details and are excited to dive into your design project. A member of our team will be reaching out to you shortly to discuss your needs and how we can best support your design goals. If you have an immediate question or additional information you'd like to share, feel free to reply to this email. We look forward to connecting with you soon. Best regards, Emily at Parker Creative Studio. We're also adding break tags on our email to prevent it from being sent as one giant paragraph. So this could be the confirmation email that we are sending to our prospects after they have submitted their data on our form. So we can rename this email to confirmation email. And then I'll click on OK. To test if you're going to add Justin Monday.com and send them the confirmation email, here I'll choose our previous submission that we did. Instead of repeating the same process of filling in the details one more time, you can just choose our previous submission right here and then run our automation. So you can see that automation ran successfully. Here we got Justin, then we listed his responses right here. Then we added them to Monday.com and sent them the confirmation email right here. On Monday, you'll see that we have a new client that we just added right here. His name is Justin Warren. We added them today, just now, and their status is intake. We are collecting their first name, last name, company name, email, and their phone number right here. And then after adding them to Monday, we are sending them the confirmation email with the subject line, thank you for your submission. Our team will be in touch soon. And then this is the content of the email that we are sending to our prospects who just submitted their details on Typeform. So with this simple automation, we've automated the first process for a design agency. Now let us automate the second process, which is the client onboarding process. On our design agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to client onboarding system, where we're going to send an automated questionnaire, a proposal, a contract, and Stripe invoice this automation. So here, I'll trigger our automation by creating a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients is changed to onboard. So here, I'll search for webhook, then click on custom webhook. Here, I'll click on add, and then I'll rename our webhook to client onboarding. And then here, I'll click on OK. Then I'll copy the link of this webhook. On Monday, I'll click on integrate. And then here, I'll click on webhooks. I like to send our webhook after the status changes to something, so I'll use this as our template. I'll choose another account and paste the URL that we just copied from Make. I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see here it says fail to communicate to the URL provided. So here, we'll need to return these challenge text using a webhook response. So here, I'll add another module, and then webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. And then here, I'll return this challenge text over here. And click on OK. I'll run our webhook again. And on Monday, I'll click on connect. And you can see it ran successfully. Here, I'll delete the webhook response. I'll proceed to set up our webhook. So we'd like to send our webhook when the status changes to onboard. Then I'll click on create automation. Now to test if our webhook is working perfectly, I'll run it again. And on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to onboard. You can see it ran successfully, and we are getting the specific client whose status we just changed. But unfortunately, we're only getting their name and their status, but we're not getting more information about our client, like their email, their phone number, first and last name, or the company they work in. Now to get the rest of their data, I'll copy this pulse ID right here. And then I'll add another module on Monday and search for get an item module. Then click on get an item. I'll choose our connection right here, then add our ID. So the ID will be the Pulse ID. Then here I'll choose our board, which will be the design agency. And then click on OK. Now I'll run this module by pasting the Pulse ID that we copied from our webhook, and then click on OK. And now you can see that we're getting their data right here. So we're getting their first name, last name, the company they're working, their email, and their phone number right here. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the automated questionnaire that we created from Typeform. So on Typeform, I've created a design agency questionnaire form where here we are asking our clients of various questions so we can try to understand their business and see if we can help them. So the first question we're asking them is, describe your business in a few sentences. They can type in the answer right here. The second question that we're asking our clients is, what products or services do you offer? Then they can type in the answer right here. The third question that we're asking them is, what type of design do you need? Then here, they can choose either of these options. You can either choose web design, product design, print design, or logo design. And the fourth question that we're asking them is, what are your goals for this design? And they can either choose brand awareness, lead generation, or engagement as either option. The fifth question that we're asking them is, how often do you need the designs delivered? And here they can either choose weekly, monthly, or as needed right here. And lastly, we are asking them to schedule an onboarding call on our calendar. Here, they'll book an onboarding call so we can get a little bit more specific on our questions and get more details to our questions on that onboarding call. So we are going to get these form on Make.com. So to get the form, I'll click on share. And then here, I'll copy the last part of the link of our form. This will be the unique ID to our form. I'll copy the ID. Then on Make, I'll search for Typeform. And then I'm going to get our form. I'm going to choose our right connection. And then here, I'll paste the ID that we just copied from Typeform. And then click on OK. And now let us see if we're going to get our form. You can see that we're getting our form right here. We're also getting the specific link to our form. So this is the link that we're going to send to our clients via email. So here we can rename this to questionnaire form and then click on OK. The next process that we're going to automate is the proposal and contract process. We're going to generate a proposal and a contract to send to our client for signing. I'm going to create a contract and a proposal via Pandadoc. On Pandadoc, I've created a web design contract and a web design proposal that would like to send to our client. This is assuming that the client would like a complete design of their website. Here's a website design proposal template that I created from Pandadoc. It has an about page, a problem overview, and we're listing our services. We have the cost estimates, responsibilities, and lastly, we have a place where we can add our signature, and the client can add their signature right here. We've also created a web design contract template that we're going to send to our client. So here we are listing our web design services, our fees and expenses, terms and termination, delivery, intellectual property. And lastly, we're adding a place where we can add our signature and the client can add their signature right here. So on Make, I'm going to get both of these documents. On Make, I'll search for Pandadoc. Click on Pandadoc and click on Get a Document module. And here, we'll need to add the document ID for a document. I'm going to start with the proposal template. So we're going to get the ID of this template from our URL. So on our URL, we'll copy the last part of our URL, similar to what we did with Typeform. So I'll copy the unique ID and paste it right here and click on OK. Let us run it and see if we're going to get our document. So I'll run this module. And you can see we're getting our web design proposal right here. So we can download it by choosing the downloaded document module. And then here we can add the document ID, which is this ID right here, and click on OK. So with this module, I can rename it to get proposal. And then here we can rename this to download proposal. And click on OK. We can do the same for our contract. So here on Pandadoc, I'll get a document. Can add the document ID. Now, the document ID, we're still going to get it from our URL. So on our URL, I'll copy the last part of our URL, which is the unique ID of this document. And then on Make, I'll paste the ID right here and click on OK. You can also run it and see if we're going to get our contract. You can see here we're getting our web design contract. Now we can also download it using the downloaded document module. Then here we're going to add the ID of our web design contract, then click on OK. So we can rename this to get a contract module, and you can rename it to download contract, and then click on OK. With automation, we are getting our form, we're getting our proposal, and we're getting our contract right here. Now the last part will be creating an invoice to send to our client. To create an invoice, I'm going to use Stripe. So on Stripe, I'm going to start by searching for a customer on Stripe. This is assuming that you already created your customer on Stripe. If you didn't create your customer, you can start by creating your customer. But since I already created our customer, I'm going to search for the customer. I'm going to search via their email. So the email address that we got from Monday, this email address. So using this email, we're going to search for our customer. Then for the limit, I'm going to limit it to 1, and then click on OK. After searching for a customer on Stripe, we can create a payment intent. Here, we can add the amount that we are charging for services. For example, we can say $2,000. But one thing you need to know that the amount that you add right here is in cents. Now to convert this number into dollars, we'll need to add 2 extra zeros. The currency, we're using USD as a currency. You can add the description right here. For example, we're saying web design. Then you can add the recipient email right here. This is email over here. Then you can add the customer ID from our search module. And choose a payment method right here. Add the shipping address, but for now, I'm just going to click on OK since this is an example and proceed to create an invoice. So I'm going to search for invoice and click on create an invoice module. Now here we'll add our customer ID from our search customer module. For the collection method, you can either choose charge automatically or send an invoice. Now if you like to send an invoice, you can add the days until due. You can say, for example, 3 days. You can also add the due date, the description, you can say web design. Then add the subscription ID, click on OK. We can proceed to send our questionnaire form, a proposal, contract, and invoice to our client via email. So here, I'll search for email and then click on send an email module. We're going to add the email address of our client from Monday.com. So email address that we got right here. And the subject line of the email could be on the lines of next step, onboarding questionnaire, proposal, contract, and invoice. And then the content of the email could be on the lines of hi, first name. So this is, you're going to get the first name from Monday. Right here. And the rest of the email could be on the lines of hope you're doing well. As we move forward with your project, I've attached a few key documents to get us started. Number 1 is the onboarding questionnaire. This will help us gather all the necessary information about your design preferences and goals. Then the onboarding questionnaire link, we're going to add it from Typeform, which is the display link right here. Then the second document that we are sending them is a proposal, where it outlines the scope of the work, timeline, and deliverables for your project. Then we can add the proposal by adding the file name of our website design proposal right here after we've downloaded it. The third document that we're sending them is a contract, where we tell them to please review and sign to confirm our agreement. We're getting our contract from the download the document module, where we're downloading our web design contract. The fourth document that we're sending them is a Stripe invoice. We're telling them it's a link to securely submit the initial payment. So on our create invoice module, we're going to add our invoice URL right here. And then the rest of the email could be on the lines of, once you've completed the questionnaire and reviewed the documents, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We'll begin working on your project right after we've received the signed contract and payment. Looking forward to getting started. Best regards, Emily at Parker Creative Studio. So this could be the email address that we're sending to our client, linking the onboarding questionnaire, the proposal, contract, and the Stripe invoice. And click on OK. Now, after sending our email, you can also send a payment reminder email after the due date has already passed. So here, on Stripe, I'll search for invoice. Then click on search invoice. Here, I'll add our customer ID from our search customer module. Then for the status, we'd like for the invoice to still be open. Here we can choose our collection method. We can say charge automatically. And then just limit it to 1. Then click on OK. Then here we can send them an email reminder. So on email, I'll click on send an email. Now for our email, we're going to add our email address from Monday. So on Monday, I'll search for email and then add our email address right here. And then the subject line of our email, we can say payment reminder, invoice past due. And for the content of our email, we can say hi, first name, and then add our first name right here. And then the rest of the email, we can say, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to follow up regarding the outstanding invoice for your project, which was due yesterday. So we're going to send this email 1 day after the due date. It looks like the payment has not been received yet. For your convenience, here's a link to the invoice, and then here we're going to add the link of the Stripe invoice. So from the search invoice module, and then the rest of the email could be on the lines of, please submit the payment at your earliest convenience to avoid any delays of our work together. If you already made the payment, please disregard this email. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or need assistance. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. Best regards, Emily. And then click on OK. So this is the payment reminder email. We can set up a filter to avoid these emails being sent at the same time. So here, I'll set up a filter and label it as wait 3 days. Then here, you can add the condition where we're saying the due date should equal to, you can add days. And then here, you can add the due date right here and add 1 day after the due date. So that's when we like to send this email to our client. Besides the due date, we're also going to add another condition. This time around, we're going to say the amount due should exist. So if it's past the due date and there's still an amount that is due, we are going to send a payment reminder email to our client. To test if automation works perfectly, I'll run our automation, and on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to onboard. You can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to onboard. Then we got the data of the specific client whose status we just changed. Then we got our questionnaire form. Then we got our proposal and contract from PandaDoc. Then we created our invoice on Stripe and sent the form, the proposal, contract, and invoice to our client via this email right here. And after 3 days, and the client still hasn't paid the invoice, we are going to send them the payment reminder right here. So this is our client onboarding automation that we have created, automating the client onboarding process right here. The next process that we're going to automate for a design agency is the deadline reminders to our team. We're here, we're going to create automated notifications to our team for them to stay informed and accountable. We're going to send the notification reminders via Slack. On our design agency system folder, I'll create a new scenario. I've renamed our scenario to automated notification for client project deadlines for team members. So here, I'll trigger this automation by creating a webhook that is triggered after one of our client's status changes to team reminders. So here, I'll search for webhooks and click on custom webhook. Here, I'll click on add. And then here, I'll rename our webhook to client project deadline. And then click on save. And here, I'll copy the link of this webhook and click on OK. Then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Here, I'll click on webhooks. Then we'd like to send a webhook after our status changes to team reminders. So here, I'll use this as our template. Then here, I'll use another account and paste the URL of the webhook that we just copied right here. Then here, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click connect. You can see it says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So on Make, we'll need to return this challenge text right here using a webhook response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. And here, I'll add 2 curly braces. And then here, I'll write challenge. Now add this challenge and click on OK. I'll run our webhook again. On Monday, I'll click connect. Here, we can set up our webhook. So we like to send our webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to team reminders. So here, let's say when status changes to team reminders, create an automation. I'll delay the webhook response and test if our webhook is working perfectly. So by running our webhook, then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to team reminders. You can see right here, it ran successfully. And we are getting the specific client whose status we just changed, but we are not getting the other data like their phone number, their company name, first name, or last name. I'll copy this pulse ID right here. And now to get the rest of the information of our client on Monday, I'll search for get an item module. Click on get an item. Here I'll choose the right connection and then add our ID here. Our ID is going to be our pulse ID, and the board is going to be design agency, and click on OK. Now let us run this module and see if we're going to get the rest of the data by pasting our pulse ID that we just copied from our webhook right here, and click on OK. You can see right here that we're getting the rest of the data. So we're getting the first name, last name, the company name, email, and the phone number right here. We can begin adding our Slack automated messages to automation. So here, I'll add another module and search for Slack, and click on Slack. And here, I'll click on create a message. Here, like we did previously with Typeform and Monday.com, you'll need to create a connection between Slack and Make. To do that, you just click on add, then choose the connection type as Slack user, and then you can rename your connection, then click on save, and then you can choose the account that you'd like to link to Make, and then click on OK, and your connection will have been created. But since I had already created a connection, I'm going to close and choose the right connection right here. Here I'll enter a channel ID. I'll choose to select from a list. Then the channel type will be public channel, and then here I'll choose the channel that I'd like to send a message to. So this could be this channel that you and the members of your team are in. In case I'm going to search for Slacks. And then here we can add the text. But before that, I can rename this module to kickoff meeting reminder. With this message, we're reminding our team of the kickoff meeting for the client's project that we just took on. And now for the text that we are sending to our team, we can say, hi team, do not forget we have our kickoff meeting for, and then here we can add the name of our client. Let's say we are going to add their first name, and then you can add the date and time right here. Make sure to review this project brief and bring any initial thoughts or questions. Click on OK. So this could be the first message that we're sending to our team right here, reminding them of the kickoff meeting. You can also add another module right here. Then here, I'll add another reminder to our team. So here, on Slack, I'll click on create a message. I'll rename our module to project brief acknowledgement, and then click on OK. You can select channel from a list and search for our channel, which is Lux. The text that we're sending to our team could be on the lines of reminder to review the project brief for, and then we can add the name of our client for Dennis by, and then here we are adding the deadline. Please add your comments to the document if you have any inputs or suggestions before next sync. Then click on OK. So this could be the project brief acknowledgement notification that we are sending to our team members. We can also add a couple of more reminders. So here I'm going to clone our modules a couple of times. And now I'll rename our modules. These could be the automated notifications that we are sending to team members as they continue to work on the client's project. So the first one was a kickoff meeting. The second automated notification reminder we are sending to our team is a project brief acknowledgement. And the notification that we are sending to our team is a task assignment, where the text could be on the lines of just a heads up, I've assigned the tasks for Denny's project on Monday. Please review your tasks and let me know if you have any questions or need clarification. And the next notification is the internal feedback session, where the text that we're sending to our team could be on the lines of our internal feedback session for Denny's first description drafts is scheduled for, and then we add in the time and the date. Make sure your deliverables are uploaded to, let's say, Google Drive for a specific date right here. Then click on OK. The next notification that we're sending to our team members is the client presentation prep. And the text could be in the lines of reminder, we are presenting to the first name of our client on specific date and time. Please ensure all presentation materials are ready and polished by, and then we're inserting the deadline right here and click on OK. And then the other notification that we're sending to our team is the deadline check-in notification. And the text could be in the lines of quick check-in. How is everyone doing with their tasks for, and then we add in the client's first name right here. The first name we're going to get it from Monday. So on Monday, we can add the first name right here. Let me know if you are encountering any blockers or need extra support. Then the last notification that we're sending to our client is the final delivery reminder, where the text could be in the lines of final delivery for our client's first name are due on a specific date. Let's make sure all files are uploaded to Dropbox by, and then we're adding a deadline right here. Please double check for any last minute tweaks, then click on OK. So these are a series of automated notifications that we're sending to our team for a client project. Now we can also set up filters to spread the sending day of our notifications. So here we can send these after we trigger our webhook. Now for the second notification, we can wait, let's say 1 day. And here we can say date should equal to, and then on date and time, can add days. Here we can add now. And here we're going to wait only 1 day. And click on OK. For the second one, we can say we're going to wait for 2 days. Here, we're going to say date. And here, I'm going to click on add days and then click on the variable now. And here we're waiting for 2 days. And click on OK. Here, set up a filter. Here we're going to, let's say, wait for 3 days. And then here I'm going to say date should equal to, and then on date and time I'll click on add days. And then add now. And then here we're going to wait for 3 days. And then the next one we can say wait for 5 days. Here for the condition we can say date should equal to, and I'll add days. And here I'm going to add now. And then here I'll add 5 days to send this client presentation prep. And then here I'm going to set up another filter. Let's say this time around we're going to wait for 7 days. And then here I'm going to say date should equal to, here I'll add the days. Then I'll say now. Here we're waiting for 7 days, so I'll do 7. Click on OK. And I'll set up another filter. You can say wait for 8 days, and then here you can say the date should be equal to. And then here we can say add days. And then here I'll add now. And then add 8 days right here. And then here I'll click on OK. So you can stretch the number of days depending on the complexity of the client's project. To test if automation works perfectly, I'll run it. On Monday, I'll change one of our client status to team reminders. You can see triggered our webhook, we got our client's data, and then we're sending the kickoff meeting reminder right here. After 1 day, we're going to send this project brief acknowledgement. Same goes with the other Slack notification reminders right here. So with this simple automation, we've automated the daily reminders process for our design agency. The next process that we're going to automate is a project tracking process for our design agency. On our design agency systems folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I've renamed our scenario to project tracking automation. On Monday, I have in progress, finalizing, completed, and cancelled as status of each of our clients. In each status, we are going to send an email to our client notifying them where the project is at. So if the project is in the finalizing stage, we're going to notify our client that the project is in the finalizing stage. Here, on Monday, I'll watch both column values. Here we'll need to create a webhook. You'll select your connection right here and then rename your webhook. I'll rename our webhook to project tracking webhook and then select our board ID. Our board ID is going to be design agency. I'll choose the update type where I'll choose item specific column value update. And then the column that we would like to watch is the status column. So here I'll select status and click on OK. And then here I'll click on OK. Now to test if our webhook works, I'll run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of any of our clients. So let's say intake. Webhooks, you can see it's triggering our webhook and we're getting the specific client whose status we just changed. Let's get the rest of their data by choosing the get an item module. Click on get an item. Here, choose your connection. Then for the ID, we're going to choose the pulse ID. Is this one here? And for the board ID, I'm going to choose design agency as our board ID. Click on OK. And here, I'll copy the pulse ID. And then I'll run this module by pasting the pulse ID right here and clicking on OK. Now you can see we're getting the rest of their data right here, which is awesome. So we're getting their first name, last name, company name, email, and their phone number. With their data right here, we can begin creating the emails that we're going to send to our client, notifying them where the project is at a particular stage. So here I'm going to create an email for in progress, finalizing, completed, and cancelled status. So these are 4 emails that we're going to create. So here I'll search flow control and click on router. Since we're going to send 4 emails, I'm going to add 4 routes right here. And here I'm going to add an email. And then click on send an email. This email, I'll rename this email to in progress email. So after we change the status of one of our clients to in progress, we're going to send them this in progress email right here. You can add a second email. Click on send an email. This will be the finalizing email. So I'll rename it to finalizing email. Then click on OK. Yeah, I'll add another email. Click on send an email. And I'll rename this email to completed email. then click on OK. And here I'll add another email, and then click on send an email. Then I'll rename this email to cancelled email. And then click on OK. Now here we can set up a filter to ensure that this email goes out after the status is changed to in progress. So here I'll click on set up a filter. I'll label it to in progress. And then for the condition, I'll say that the status text should equal to in progress. And then click on OK. Same with the finalizing email. I'll set up a filter and label it to finalizing. Then the condition, we can say the status text should equal to finalizing. And then click on OK. Same with the completed email. I'll set up a filter and label it to completed. And then here we're going to say the status text should equal to completed. And then click on OK. And lastly, we're going to set up a filter for the last email. It's cancelled. And then label it to cancelled. And the condition, we're going to say the status text should equal to cancelled. And then click on OK. The in progress email that we are sending to our client, here we're adding our email address from our Monday.com module right here. And then the subject line of the email could be on the lines of project update currently in progress. And then the content of the email could be on the lines of hi, first name. I wanted to provide you with an update of the current status of the project. The project is in progress and our team is making steady progress towards our goals. We are currently on track with our timeline and anticipate completing the next phase by, and then we are in the date that we anticipate completing the project. At this point, there's no major issues or blockers that could impact our delivery schedule. And we're concluding the email by saying, if you have any questions or need further information, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'll continue keeping you updated as we progress through the next steps of the project. Thank you for your continued support and collaboration. Best regards, Emily. And click on OK. Now, for the finalizing email, we're adding the email address from Monday. It could be on the lines of project update, finalizing stage. And the content of the email they were sending to our client could be on the lines of hi, first name. I'm pleased to inform you that the project is now in the final stage. Our team is currently working on the last details to ensure everything meets the agreed upon specifications and quality standards. We anticipate completing these final touches by, and then we add in a specific date right here. Once this is done, we'll be ready to proceed with the handover and any necessary reviews or approvals. If you have any adjustments or feedback, now will be an excellent time to share them. Please let me know if there's anything specific you'd like us to focus on as we wrap up the project. Thank you for your continued partnership. I'll keep you updated on our progress, notifying you once the project is fully completed. Best regards, Emily. And click on OK. For the completed email, we're going to add the email address from Monday right here. The subject line of the email could be the lines of project update completed. And the content of the email that we're sending to our client after the project has been completed could be on the lines of hi, first name. I'm delighted to inform you that the project has been successfully completed. Our team has thoroughly reviewed the final deliverables to ensure that they meet the agreed upon requirements and quality standards. The completed project is now ready for your review and handover. Please let me know if you'd like to reschedule a final walkthrough or if there are any further steps that you'd like us to take. Thank you for the opportunity to work on this project. It's been a pleasure collaborating with you, and we hope the results exceed your expectations. Should you have any additional questions or need further assistance, feel free to reach out at any time. Best regards, Emily. Click on OK. Now for the cancelled email, you're adding the email address from Monday. The subject line of the email, you can say project update cancelled. And the content of the email that we're sending to our team could be in the lines of hi, first name. I'm writing to inform you that after careful consideration and discussion, the project has been cancelled. While we regret that we won't be moving forward with this project, we appreciate the effort and collaboration from everyone involved. Up to this point, if there's any outstanding matters or final steps you would like us to address, please let me know. We're committed to ensuring a smooth closure and are here to assist you with any necessary wrap-up activities. Thank you for your understanding and opportunity to work with you on this project. Should you have any questions or require further clarification, do not hesitate to reach out. Best regards, Emily, and click on OK. Now let us test our automation if it's working perfectly. So I'll run automation. And I'll change the status of one of our clients to in progress. You can see that we sent the in progress email after we change the status to in progress. Let us test our automation again. This time around, we're going to change the status to finalizing. can see we send the finalizing email after we change the status of our client to finalizing. So I'll run automation again and then change the status of one of our clients to completed. You can see it sent the completed email after we change the status of one of our clients to completed. So I'll run automation again. This time around, I'm going to change the status of one of our clients to cancelled. You can see now here we are sending the cancelled email after we've changed the status of one of our clients to cancelled. That means that our automation is working perfectly, and we are sending updates to our clients, notifying them which stage the project is at. So with this simple automation, we've automated the project tracking process for a design agency. The next process that we're going to automate for a design agency is the content scheduling process. On our design agency system, I'll click on create a new scenario. Yeah, I've renamed our scenario to content scheduling on social media platforms. We are going to get our content from a folder on Google Drive. I'll search for Google Drive and watch files. Each time we add a file to our specific folder on Google Drive, it will trigger our automation. I'll watch the files by created time, and then choose a drive, and then here select a folder I'd like to be watched. You can say gallery is our folder, and then here we're going to watch all files. And then here limit it to, let's say 2, and then click on OK. And then here let us run our module and see if we're going to get a file. And you can see here we're getting a file that is in our gallery folder on our Google Drive. Now here we can create a shareable link for the specific file. So here I'll get a share link. Here I'll add the file ID, which is this file ID right here. For the role, you can say reader. Here we can say anyone with the link, and then click on OK. Next thing I'll do here, I'll click on HTTP and then click on get a file. Here I'll add the URL of our file right here, and then click on OK. Here I'll choose where to start and then choose our previous image, and then click on OK, and then run automation. Then you can see here we're getting the image right here. We're creating the link for the image right here, and then here we're getting the image right here. Here I'm going to rename this module to get an image, and click on OK. So we're getting the specific image from our Google Drive folder. Now we can proceed to posting the image on social media. So here I'll click on flow control, then click on router. So I like to post our image on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. So I'll add 4 routes right here. And the first one, I'm going to search for Facebook and click on Facebook page. And here I'm going to click on create post with photos. And then here I'm going to post our image on Instagram. So I'll search for Instagram, click on Instagram for business, and here I'll create a photo post. And this one will be for LinkedIn. So I'll search for LinkedIn, click on create a user image post. Then this one will be for Twitter. So I'll search for Twitter and click on Twitter. And then I'll go for the previous version. I'll click on the upload a media module. And here on Twitter, I'm going to create a post and post the image that we're getting from this HTTP module right here. Now, since we are scheduling the content, I'm going to schedule a content using this app called Vista Social, and then click on schedule a new post. So we're going to schedule our Facebook post using Vista Social. And also I'm going to clone this module and do the same for Instagram. And we can also clone and do the same for LinkedIn. We can also clone it and do the same for Twitter. After we add a new image or video to our Google Drive folder called gallery, we're going to create a shareable link, and we're going to get the file, and then we are going to schedule the post on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter using Vista Social. So this is how you can set up the automation. Now, connecting it in the backend, I know you guys can do it. It's pretty simple. Now, if you're having trouble connecting it in the backend, just comment down below in the comment section. I'll reply to you specifically showing how you can connect it in the backend. Or I can even send you the blueprints via email. This is a content scheduling automation that we have created for a design agency, automating the content scheduling process. Now, the next process that we're going to automate is the client approval process, where we're going to set up an automation that automatically notifies the client when the designs are ready for review and approval. On our design agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I've renamed our scenario to client approval notification. So I'd like to trigger our automation by creating a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to approval. And make here, I'll search for webhooks, then click on custom webhook. Here, I'll click on add, then I'll rename our webhook to client approval. Then click on save. And I'll copy this link to clipboard and click on OK. And on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Here, I'll click on webhooks. And then I like to send a webhook when the status of our client changes to approval. So I'll use this as our template. Here, I'll choose another account and paste the link that we just copied right here. Then here, on Make, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So here, we'll need to return this text, this challenge text right here using a webhook response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. Then I'll add two curly braces. And then here I'll write challenge. And then add this challenge text right here. Click on OK. Now I'll run our webhook again. And then click on connect on Make. You can see that it ran successfully. You can delete the response and set up a webhook. So we would like to send a webhook when the status changes to approval. And click on create automation. Now let us test if our webhook works perfectly. So I'll run our webhook, then change our status to approval. Here you can see a specific client whose status we just changed, but we're not getting their data like their email, first name, phone number, or their company name. To get the rest of their details, here I'll copy the pulse ID, and then I'll search for Monday and search for get an item module, and click on get an item. And here I'm going to choose our connection, which is design agency connection. And then here I'll add our ID, which is the pulse ID. And then for the board ID, I'll choose design agency as our board ID and click on OK. Now here I'll run our module by pasting our pulse ID right here, clicking on OK. Now you can see here we're getting the rest of their details, like their email, their phone number, their first and last name, and the company name. To send them the designs for them to approve, I'll get the designs from Google Drive. So on Google Drive, I'll search for files on folder. Here I'll select from a list, then on my drive, then here I'll choose our folder. Our folder is gallery. You can retrieve files. Then we're going to search within files and folder name. Here we can say the query that we're looking for. It could be, let's say, images. The search option, you can search for name containing the search term. And here you can add the limit to 10 and click on OK. Yeah, we can run this module and see if we're going to get a file from our folder. You can see we're getting a file with images on the name. On Google Drive, I'm going to create a shareable link for our image by clicking on get a share link. For the file ID, we're going to add this file ID right here. For the role, you can say either owner, writer, commenter, or reader, but I'm going to leave it as reader, and then choose anyone with the link and click on OK. You can send the client the email with the link to the design that we got from Google Drive for them to approve. So on email, I'll click on email and click on send an email module. I'll rename this email to client approval email. Then click on OK. Now for the email address, we're going to add the email address from Monday. So on emails, I'll click on email address right here. And then the subject line of the email could be the lines of your design is ready for review. And then here, the email that we're sending them, content could be on the lines of hi, first name. Exciting news, your design is now ready for review. We've completed the initial draft based on our discussion and would love to hear your thoughts. You can review the design by following this link here, and then here we can add the design review link. We're going to get the link from the get a share link module, and the link is going to be the share link right here. And then the rest of the email could be the lines of, please take your time to go over it and let us know if you have any feedback or if you're ready to approve it for the next steps. If you have any questions or any adjustments, feel free to reach out. We're here to make sure everything is exactly how you envisioned. Looking forward to your feedback. Best regards, Emily. Then click on OK. Now to test if automation works perfectly and that it gets the file, creates the shareable link and sends it to our client via this email, I'll run automation. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients from intake to approval. You can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to approval, and we got their data. We searched for our design on our gallery folder on Google Drive. We created the shareable link for the file. Then we sent the file to our client via this email right here. It has the subject line of your design is ready for review. And then this could be the content of our email. Then this is the link of our file that we're sending to our client for review. So with this simple automation right here, we've automated the client approval for our design agency. The next process that we're going to automate is the file delivery and client handoff process. On our design agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to file delivery and client handoff. We're going to trigger this automation by creating a webhook that is triggered after we change one of our client status to file delivery. So here, I'll click on webhooks and click on custom webhook. Here I'll click on add, then I'll rename our webhook to file delivery. Then click on save. Then here I'll copy the link of our webhook and click on OK. Then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. And here I'll click on webhooks. And then I like to send our webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to file delivery. So I'll use this as our template. I'll choose another account and paste the URL that we just copied from our webhook right here. And then run our webhook. And then here I'll click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. That means that here we'll need to return this challenge text using a webhook response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. Then here, I'll add two curly braces. Then here I'll write challenge. Here I'll add this challenge right here and click on OK. Now I'll run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see it ran successfully. Here I'll delete the response. And then set up our webhook right here. We'll extend our webhook when the status changes to file delivery. And I'll click on create automation. Now let us test if our webhook works perfectly. So I'll run this automation and change the status of one of our clients to file delivery. You can see right here, we got the specific client whose status we just changed. But we're now getting the rest of the information like their email, first name, last name, or phone number. So here, I'll copy this pulse ID. And then on Monday, I'm going to search for get an item module. Click on get an item. I'm going to choose the right connection and then add the ID, which will be the pulse ID right here. And here I'm going to choose our board ID, which is design agency, and then click on OK. Now I'm going to run this module by pasting our pulse ID right here, clicking on OK. Now you can see that we're getting the rest of the information like their first name, last name, email, company name, email, and their phone number. We can proceed to send them our file. Now here, we're going to first of all get our file from Google Drive. Here, we're going to search for files on our folder. Here, I'm going to select from a list on our drive. Then here, I'm going to choose our folder. Our folder is going to be on the gallery folder. We're going to retrieve files from that folder. And then here, I'm going to search within file or folder name. You can say our image has the name image in it. Now we can search for name containing the search item, and we can leave the limit as 10 and click on OK. Now here, let us run this module and see if we're going to get our file. You can see that we're getting our file right here that possesses image on its name, which is amazing. Now we're going to create a shareable link for the file so we can send it to our client via email. So on Google Drive, I'm going to click on get a share link. I'll add our file ID, which is this file ID right here. And then role, you can say reader, but you can also choose either owner, writer, or commenter. But I'm going to leave it as reader. Then for the type, you can say anyone with a link, and then click on OK. And now we can send the file to our client via email. So on email, I'll click on send an email module. And then here, I'll rename this email to file delivery email. And then click on OK. For email address, we're going to get our email address from our Monday module right here. And then the subject line of our email could be in the lines of final design files ready for download. And then the content of the email that we're sending to our clients, we're saying, hi, first name. First name is this first name right here. I'm happy to let you know that your final design files are now ready. You can download all the completed assets using the link below. And here we can add the link to our files from our Google Drive folder. So the files are going to be on the share link on this module right here. Then the rest of the email could be in the lines of, if you need any additional formats or have any questions about the files, feel free to reach out. We appreciate the opportunity to work with you and look forward to collaborating again in the future. Thank you again for trusting us with your project. Best regards, Emily. And then click on OK. Let us run automation and see if it's working perfectly. So here, I'll run automation, and then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to file delivery. You can see that our automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to file delivery. Then we got the data of the client status we just changed. Then we sourced our file from Google Drive. We created a link for the file. Then we sent the file to our client via this email right here. The subject line of the email is on the lines of final design files ready for download. And then this is the content of the email that we're sending to our client right here. And then we're including the link of the final design file right here for them to download. That's awesome. So with this simple automation, we have automated the file delivery and handoff process for design agency. The next process that we're going to automate is the client feedback and review process, where we're going to create an automation that automatically sends an email to our client requesting for testimonials or referrals. On our design agency system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to client feedback and reviews automation. And here I'm going to create a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to client feedback. So here, I'm going to search for webhooks, then click on custom webhook. And I'm going to click on add. Then I'll rename our webhook to client feedback. Then click on save. Here I'm going to copy the link of our webhook and click on OK. On Monday, I'll click on integrate and webhooks. And I'd like to send a webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to something. So here, I'll use this as our template. And here I'll use another account and paste the URL that we just copied from our webhook right here. And here I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. It says failed to communicate with the URL provided. We're going to repeat what we did in the previous modules. So I'm going to return the challenge text using a webhook response. So on webhook response, I'll add two curly braces. And then write challenge right here. And I'll add the text over here. And then click on OK. And then I'll run our webhook again. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see it ran successfully. Here I'm going to delete the response. And then on Monday, I'd like to send our webhook after the status of one of our clients changes to client feedback. Then click on create automation. Let us test our webhook if it's working perfectly. So I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to client feedback. You can see right here it ran successfully, and we're getting the specific client whose status we just changed. But we're only getting his name and the status, but we're not getting their other information like their email, phone number, first name or last name, or the company they work in. To get the rest of the information, I'll copy this pulse ID here. And then on Monday, I'll search for get an item module and click on get an item. I'll choose our connection right here. Then here for the ID, I'm going to add our pulse ID. And then for the board ID, it's going to be design agency. Then click on OK. Now to test if our module works perfectly, I'll run this module by pasting our pulse ID right here and clicking on OK. And now you can see we're getting the rest of the information over here. So we're getting their first name, last name, company name, email, and their phone number over here. Data with their email, we can send them a survey form that we created on Typeform for them to fill in and give us feedback of our services. So on Typeform, I've created a form and renamed it to Design Agency Clients Feedback Survey Form. Here, we're asking the clients a series of questions to gauge if they were satisfied with our services. So the first question that we're asking our clients is, how satisfied are you with our services? And then they can rate us from 0 to 10. The second question that we're asking our clients is, how likely are you to recommend our services to others? And then they can rate us from 0 to 10. The third question that we're asking them is, how well did we communicate throughout the project? And then they can type in the answer right here. And the fourth question that we are asking them is there anything else you would like to share about your experience with our services? And then they can add the answer right here. And lastly, we're asking them, do you have any suggestions for improving our services? Then they can type in the answer right here. So this is the form that we're going to send to our client. Now to get the ID of this form, I'm going to click on share. On our link, I'll copy the unique ID. I'll search for Typeform. Then I'll click on get a form. Here, I'll choose our connection and then paste the ID that we just copied right here and click on OK. Now we can run this module and see if we're going to get our form. You can see that we are getting our form right here and the link of the survey right here. This is the unique ID that we just copied and pasted on this form right here. With our survey form right here, we can send it to our client via email. So here, I'll search for email and then click on send an email. Then here, I'll rename this email to client feedback email, then click on OK. For our email, here we'll add our email address. Our email address is from Monday right here. And the subject line of the email could be on the lines of, we would love your feedback, quick survey. And then the content of the email that we're sending to our client could be on the lines of, we're always striving to improve and provide the best possible experience for our clients. To help us continue delivering high quality service, we greatly appreciate it if you could take a few minutes to fill out a short feedback and survey form. You can access the survey through the link below. Then we're going to add the survey link from our type form module, and our link will be this link right here. And the rest of the email could be in the lines of, your insights will help us understand what we did well and where we can improve for future projects. We truly value your opinion and would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for your time and for trusting us with your business. We look forward to working with you again. Best regards, Emily. Then click on OK right here. That says if automation works perfectly. So here, I'll run automation. One I'll change the status of one of our clients to client feedback. You can see right here that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to client feedback. Then we got the data of our clients right here. Then we got the form. And we send the survey form to our client via this email right here. The subject line of the email is on the lines of, would love your feedback, quick survey. And then this is the content of the email that we're sending to our client. And then we tell them that they can access the survey form using this link here. So with this simple automation, we've automated the client feedback and review process for a design agency. So these are all the processes that we have automated for a design agency. Now, for the first automation, we automated the process of adding clients or prospects from Typeform to our project management tool, which in this case, we were using Monday.com, and also sending the prospects or clients a confirmation email confirming that we got the information. The second process that we automated was the client onboarding process, where in this automation, we are getting an onboarding questionnaire that we created on Typeform. We're also getting a proposal and a contract that we created on Pandadoc. And then we're also creating an invoice on Stripe and sending the form, the proposal, the contract, and the invoice to our client via this email. We're also sending a payment reminder after the due date has passed and the client hasn't cleared the payments. So we're automating that process using this simple automation right here. Now, the third process that we're automating for a design agency, automated notifications to our team members for a client project. So here, we are creating a series of Slack notifications that we're going to send to our team members as they work on the client's project. The fourth process that we're automating for a design agency is the project tracking process, where we've created this simple automation to track and to update and notify our client which stage the project is at. So we are sending them an in-progress email to notify them that the project is in progress. We are sending them the finalizing email, notifying them that the project is in the final stage. We also sending them a completed email, notifying them that the project has been completed. And we also sending them a cancelled email, notifying them that the project has been cancelled. So we're automating the project tracking process for a design agency by creating this simple automation right here. Now, the fifth process that we're automating for a design agency is a content scheduling process. But here, we are watching files from a particular folder and creating a link for the files and getting the files and scheduling the files on social media platforms using Vista Social. Then now the sixth process that we're automating on a design agency is the client approval process, where we are creating these automation notifying the client that their designs are ready for approval. So here we're getting the designs from Google Drive and creating a shareable link for the designs and sending the client the designs via this email right here. We're also doing the same for the file delivery and client handoff process. So here we are getting the files, creating a shareable link for the files, then sending the files to our client via this email for them to download the designs that we just created. The last process that we're automating for a client is a client feedback and review process, where here we are getting a survey form that we created on Typeform and sending it to our client via this email for them to fill in and give us feedback of our services using this simple automation on Make.com. These are all the automations that we have created, automating all the processes for a design agency. Now, if you have an automation or a system in mind that you'd like for me to create, just comment down below in the comment section. I read all the comments, and if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire automation or system from scratch. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.